1 Million by Paco Rabanne have been one of the world's best-selling men's fragrances ever since it was released back in 2008. Now, is it as good as the selling number suggests, or is it just overhyped and abundant nowadays? I found out about that and much more about this fragrance next on Nordic Fragrance. Hi, I'm Tommy and you are watching Nordic Fragrance. Welcome. Today we are going to talk about this perfume here. It's called 1 Million and it's from the Spanish fashion house Paco Rabanne. Paco Rabanne have released fragrances since 1968 and they have made some great fragrances over the years, but they never managed to create that one iconic fragrance that became a bestseller in the world. Well, not until 2008 anyway. That's when they released 1 Million. It immediately became a bestseller worldwide and became famous for being a real panty dropper and clubbing king fragrance. But that was 10 years ago. Is it still viable today? Is it worth buying? Or is it just abundant? We'll find out about that, and we start with the presentation of the bottle. Okay, so Paco Rabanne designed a bottle that is supposed to look like a gold bar, and that fact alone immediately divides people into two groups. There are some people who really dislike this one. I think it's mostly the people that think that a perfume bottle should look like a proper perfume bottle, and this certainly does not. Then there are the other people, myself included, that really likes this one. I think it stands out, it's unique and really nice to look at. I really do appreciate this slightly different perfume bottle. On the front here it says 1 Million Paco Rabanne. On the back, dark tinted glass that's slightly transparent so you can easily see how much fluid you have left. No problems there. There is, however, one problem with this bottle, and that is the sprayer. Now, on most perfumes, the button on the sprayer is flat. It's easy to push, right? No problems. As you can see on this one, the button is slightly angled. This can cause a few problems. Sometimes you slip with your finger and get like a half spray where most of the fluid ends up on the floor. Also, the button doesn't cover the whole area here up top. So sometimes you can miss, get your finger somewhere in the middle between the edge and on the button. That also causes a half spray and most end up on the floor. It's not a very practical bottle. I guess the design has come before the functionality of this bottle. As long as you're aware of those problems and just push the button properly, there's really no problem with the distribution of the sprayer itself. As you can see here, it's a nice distribution, nice and wide. You get plenty of juice out of it. So just be careful with where you put your finger and be careful not to slip with the finger, and it should be okay. So let's talk about what's inside this beautiful bottle then. After all, that's the most important thing, right? As long as you can handle the sprayer, what do you get out of it? You basically get a sweet cinnamon-based scent that is really warm and welcoming and inviting, and also a little playful. That's the best way to describe 1 Million, I think. Managing to create a perfume that is both masculine and sweet and inviting at the same time is actually a great balancing act. If you put too much of the sweet notes in it, the perfume will lean more towards the feminine side. On the other hand, if you put too much of the classical manly scent notes in it, you might lose that warm, welcoming and inviting sweetness in it. So it's a great balancing act to both make it sweet and masculine at the same time. And I think they have succeeded very well with this in this perfume. It's clearly masculine, but it's still warm, and the cinnamon is kind of warm and inviting. Also, there's a little playfulness with this perfume, and I can see why it back in the days was considered a panty dropper and clubbing king fragrance. So what do I think about 1 Million from Paco Rabanne? Okay, let me first start off by admitting that I'm a sucker for those kind of fragrances in general. The kind of fragrances that are sweet yet distinctly manly at the same time. I just love them. With that said, 1 Million is 10 years old by now, and many other fragrance houses have tried to copy this success recipe of 1 Million, and many of them have also succeeded. There are frankly too many other alternatives today that are equally great smelling but performs better and have a better price. It's still a good fragrance, but it's not one of the best fragrances in my collection, and I sadly can't give it more than a 6 in smell rating. 1 million was very popular among the women back in the days. It was considered a panty dropper, and most women really loved this scent on a guy. Is that still the case today? To get a female opinion, I asked my beautiful girlfriend about her thoughts about 1 million from Paco Rabanne. She thought it smelled nice, not one of the better perfumes that I own, but still decent perfume, and she gave it a rating of 5.5. Now let's talk about the strength and performance of 1 million by Paco Rabanne, and this is really interesting. If you are considering buying this fragrance, and maybe you go online and read reviews and watch old YouTube reviews of it, they will tell you that this is almost a beast mode fragrance, that you could get 10 to 12 hours out of it, maybe more than that even. Now I'm pretty sure that most of those reviews are referring to the original vintage batch of 1 million. This certainly is not the case today. If you buy this perfume today, you get 4 hours out of it, maybe 5. Just like too many other designer fragrances, it have been reformulated and lost a lot of its strength and performance over the years. Considering 1 million is a sweet and heavy fragrance, that is just not acceptable, I think. I can't give this more than a 4 in strength and performance rating. Versatility then. I think 1 million is still great in some areas. For example, as a dating perfume. You get 4 hours out of it, and that is enough for most dates. It still maintains its warm and welcoming and playful masculine feel, so as a dating fragrance I would warmly recommend it. However, it was once known to be the king of clubbing fragrances. That was back when it performed for 10 to 12 hours. Since it doesn't do that anymore, I wouldn't recommend using this for clubbing anymore. Since 1 million is sweet, it's best suited for the colder time of year. Winter, fall, early spring maybe. I wouldn't recommend using this one in high summer heat. Even though I live in Sweden, in Northern Europe, where the climate is kind of cold, I still wouldn't recommend using it in the high summer heat. It can become cloyingly sweet under those circumstances. So 1 million is kind of limited in its versatility today, and I cannot give it more than a 5 in versatility rating. Lastly, let's rate the price of 1 million. 1 million comes in the sizes 50, 100 and 200 ml. And for 100 ml you have to pay about 60 euros or $75 US. Now I think that is quite pricey for a fragrance that is 10 years old and that have been reformulated and don't perform as well as it used to anymore. I just don't think you get enough value for your money if you buy 1 million today in 2018. And I gave it a price rating of 6. To conclude this review of 1 million from Paco Rabanne, would I recommend you buying it? No, I definitely would not recommend you buying it today. As mentioned before, it has been heavily reformulated, lost a lot of strength and performance. Also, it is 10 years old by now, and too many people know this scent by now. You're not very unique when wearing it anymore, and I just don't think it has the attraction power that it once had. So no, I wouldn't recommend anyone buying Paco Rabanne's 1 million today. With that said, I'm still very grateful for 1 million. In many ways it has paved the way for those kind of fragrances that are sweet yet masculine. And I like those kind of fragrances, and without 1 million from Paco Rabanne, all those great scents that we have today wouldn't have been possible. So it has a big place in my heart, but I wouldn't recommend anyone buying it today. If you can get your hands on a vintage batch of it, sure, then you get value for your money and you get great performance. Then it's worth buying. But this reformulated version of 2018 and later is just not worth the money. There are many better alternatives to 1 million today if you want a good clubbing fragrance or just a generally sweet and masculine fragrance. This was my review of 1 million by Paco Rabanne. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to press the subscribe button to get top lists and even more reviews in the future. Until we meet next time, take care of yourselves.